Look his face.
Yeah.
He's dangerous.
He's special.
You can like.
The guy is special. Everything that could possibly be special about this guy is special. A guy like this is the type of guy that you love to watch and follow. The most special guy that I've ever come across.
And welcome back to the Pattern Records Court Show, presented by Prospect Apparel. Today, I'm back with another fight breakdown. It's the event UFC Vegas 69, main event by Jessica Andrade and Blanchfield, as you see here on the screen in front of you. It's a fun main event. The card itself isn't super stacked. I would say it's. I'm glad. I like the Apex. I'll be honest. Especially for events like this, I don't feel like it would sell out. It wouldn't sell well. I don't think it would be a good look for the UFC to put a card like this in front of 10,000 people or 6,000, 16,000 even. Like, I don't know. Depends on the arena. So I think this belongs in the Apex, and I'm glad they moved Marlon Chito Vera versus Corey Sandhagen to San Antonio next month. But getting right into this one, obviously Jessica Andrade is a late replacement. It was supposed to be Tyler Santos, but we've got a new main event. Jessica Andrade stepping in, I believe, like a week and a half notice. But no, actually, no, it was announced on UFC 284, so on Saturday. So about a week's notice, Jessica Andrade coming off a huge win where she taught Lauren Murphy a lesson in the striking realm. Erin Blanchfield coming off the very impressive dispatchment of Molly McCann. It's a good fight, man. This is a good fight. Erin Blanchfield's a great prospect, number 10 in the world. I thought Tyler Santos was a good matchup for her. I'm not sure about Jessica Andrade. I think if Jessica Andrade can keep it on the feet, I think she pieces her up, and maybe a late finish. But that's the thing. It's a big if, right? Erin Blanchfield, very good wrestler, dominant in her wrestling, and we've seen Andrade struggle sometimes against grappling. You know, she's a very good jiu-jitsu practitioner, but the wrestling, we saw in her fight with Valentina Shevchenko, she got taken down, crucifixed, and dominated. Erin Blanchfield did the same thing to Molly McCann. So, interesting fight. It's the big if for me. I think Jessica Andrade's experience overall will prove to be the difference maker. And that's why I'm picking Jessica Andrade. I'm going to go with the unanimous decision. I don't think she gets a finish. If she does, it'll be rounds 4 and 5. But it should be a good fight. Definitely don't look on your phone on this one. There's a few fights maybe you could look at your phone, but Jessica Andrade and Blanchfield, do not miss this fight. It's a good one. Jessica Andrade, unanimous decision. That is my pick. Now moving on to this co-main event. There's a different fight that I think should be the co-main event. Let me get the names in here. Zach Paunga versus Jordan Wright. Shout out to the Anik Florian podcast for teaching me the pronunciation of Paunga's name, or Paunga. You're not supposed to say the G. This fight, man, I'm struggling to pick. Paunga coming off the knockout loss, his first loss of his career at that to Muhammad Usman. I mean, it was a bad knockout, but that fight was competitive. We'll see what his chin's like. Jordan Wright, on the note of chins, doesn't have a great chin. He gets hit and he goes down. He goes out. And he's like one of those guys that's like, his fight's going to end in the first round, maybe early second. He's the under 1.5 guy every time it's a lock. Jordan Wright, in the first 2 minutes, he's really good. And then he gets hit in the shin and goes out. Paunga, I'm not sure. I'm not impressed by either guy. I'm going to go with Paunga by TKO in early round 2, under 1.5, as I said. Round 2 TKO, but that is not a confident pick. This fight could go either way. And honestly, I'm not thrilled by either guy. So they're pretty even when it comes to everything. Jordan Wright has a little more experience. This is Paunga's unofficial, kind of official debut, in the UFC shorts and the Venom, everything, not in the Ultimate Fighter gear. But yeah, going with Paunga, early round 2 TKO. Now this one, it's a heavyweight war. I like the sloppy heavyweight battles. Josh Parisian versus Jamal Pogues. Pogues had a very good fight on the Contender Series. Parisian I'm not sure, man. He gets finished a lot. I think this is just going to be a name builder for Jamal Pogues. I think he's good talent. I think he knocks Parisian out in round 2. That's where I'm leaning. I mean, I'm not going to go into heavy detail. I'm going with Jamal Pogues, second round knockout, like a TKO, catches him and then drops him against the cage. Kind of finish. I don't think it's going to be anything spectacular. I'll eat my words if it is something spectacular. But yeah, this is where I'm leaning Jamal Pogues. It's not the biggest fight, in my opinion, but it's a good prospect builder, and you need these fights for guys coming off the Contender Series. Some guys just get fed right to the wolves, and it's not good. I think this is a good entrance for a heavyweight. Another weird one. I think this card really is like all the fighters that they can't really put on a pay-per-view card or on a crowd event because they don't have the biggest names, so that won't sell tickets. But it's a solid fight, light heavyweight. I mean, light heavyweight's a bit of a disaster currently, but this should be a good fight. William Knight coming off like 2 very weird weigh-in things. 2 fights a heavyweight. I mean, look at the size of him. He's built like a little tank. He's 5'10". He's built like a tank. I'm curious to see whether he weighs in. Obviously, I'm filming this on a Friday morning. This should be out Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, maybe. I'm aiming for Friday afternoon. You'll see when I tweet this video out. But William Knight is a hard one for me. He has good power, not very technical. And Prachnio, man, Prachnio, he doesn't have any standout skills to me. And I feel bad saying that because, I mean, he's a UFC fighter. And 15-6, not a bad record. But man, he's so much taller than William Knight. Even though the reach is somewhat, I think the height is going to be an issue. If William Knight can catch the chin, Prachnio's going out. But I'm going to lean Prachnio by decision, but that is not a confident pick. You've seen a trend here with my picks thus far. I'm not confident with many of these picks. Jessica Andrade, I was confident with. The last 2, not confident. These are ones that kill your percentage of which fights you can get correct. And I'm leaning Prachnio. I'm not sure exactly how you say it, but William Knight just doesn't overly impress me. I think this might be it for him in the UFC. It would be 3 in a row. If William Knight wins, it's a early TKO. I think he knocks him out in like round 1, like in the first 3 minutes. But the longer the fight goes, it's Pacquiao's fight. Fight I am most excited for: Jim Miller, the veteran, all-time UFC fights leader, all-time UFC wins leader, going against a guy in Alexander Hernandez who I don't want to say failed prospect, but he hasn't lived up to kind of what we had hoped after he knocked out Beneil Dariush in his debut. Coming off 2 losses now to Moicano, I'm not sure exactly how to say it, and Billy Quarantillo. You know him. He's been on the show a while ago before his Shane Burgos fight. Yeah, this is a fun one. Alexander Hernandez is a tough guy. Doesn't have the best cardio in the world. He's obviously moving back up to 55 after his unsuccessful 45 venture. Short notice, weight cut. I don't think it favors him whatsoever. Like, at all. I think it's going to be bad coming off when you drop a weight class, you really have to like suck everything out. And, he even said like he didn't feel human. It takes a lot out of you. And so going back up to another weight class and kind of building up back to the old frame on such short notice, I think it's going to be really tough. And Jim Miller's a veteran. He knows that, okay, I have my edge here and here. So the first round is where Alexander Hernandez can do his best work. And if he can land on Jim Miller, he could put him out. I believe Alexander Hernandez is the favorite for that reason. But I think the longer this fight goes, Alexander Hernandez has a history of gassing out a little bit. I think it favors Jim Miller all the way. And that's why I lean Jim Miller heavily as the fight goes on. And that's why I'm picking a Jim Miller TKO in round 2. TKO or submission, it's definitely going to be a finish. I don't see this fight going to the cards. I'm just not sure with Alexander Hernandez, man. He has his moments. You know, he had some, I believe in 2021, he knocked out Grutzmacher. And I think that showed, okay, this is what he can do. Can he replicate that against Jim Miller as well? No, I don't think he can. I don't think it's a bad loss for Hernandez to take necessarily because Jim Miller is such a veteran and so good. But yeah, I'm going with Jim Miller by finish in round 2. I don't think Alexander Hernandez will get cut, but he is heading in that direction. I hate to say it. Yeah, I don't like seeing fighters get cut, but Hernandez, I think they give him 1 or 2 more chances after this, especially this being short notice. I mean, 13-7 if he loses, that's a tough record. But yeah, going with Jim Miller by finish. I'm not going to get into soapy things. Alexander Hernandez is a story for a whole nother time. But Jim Miller, finish, round 2. That's where my head's at. Tell me what you guys think in the comments or on Twitter. DM me on Instagram or Twitter anytime. Shout out to Prospect Apparel for sponsoring this video. Once again, you know, you can see them in the top left corner. Their little logo right there. It's a great clothing brand. You'll love it. It's run by UFC featherweight Nathaniel Wood. You guys know him. He's been on the show plenty of times. Very good fighter. He's obviously out in his Lerone Murphy fight with a knee injury. But hopefully he's back soon. And keep an eye on Prospect Apparel. I believe they're dropping something soon. Have a good one, guys.